Unhappy couples, when resolving a problem, engage in a behavior that clinicians call kitchen sinking. Any guess at what's kitchen sinking? Kitchen sinking is when a specific area of conflict becomes representative of everything in your entire relationship. So you're having a talk about cleaning the bathroom sink, and suddenly we're talking about how I treat your mother, and that thing that happened before when we were going out, and that issue when I was late that time, and suddenly all issues get wrapped up. Happy couples weren't doing that. Happy couples, if we're talking about a problem, we focus on this problem. We don't throw the kitchen sink in there. But unhappy couples couldn't contain it. Their discussions turned out not to be well contained to one topic. Even though that's the issue that they were asked to discuss, it raised a lot of other issues. Unhappy couples were much more likely to engage in self-summarizing. What is self-summarizing? Self-summarizing is a conflict behavior where you say, look, what I'm trying to say is, unhappy couples are very invested in summarizing themselves. Happy couples, in contrast, were much more likely to summarize what the other person had to say. You see the difference. Unhappy couples are focused on their own message and getting it out. Look, let me explain it again. Look, let me tell you again. Look, you don't understand me. You're not hearing me. I'm trying to say, this is what I'm trying to say. Happy couples are saying, let me see if I understand you. That's a big difference. And it's a little bit more subtle. And it's not just that the happy couples are more positive. It's how are they more positive? Happy couples are more positive in an outward directed way. What makes it subtle is you can imagine an unhappy couple saying, if I could only get you to listen, if I could only get you to understand, you would immediately see my point of view and the conflict would be solved. The problem is that doesn't work if you're both constantly summarizing yourself. Connection, an actual connection, comes from the opposite of self-summarizing. And you're saying, well, if you just said something, let me see if I understand you by trying to summarize what you just said. Did I get it right? I didn't get it right? Fair enough. Let's try again. Oh, I did get it right? Oh, that makes me feel great because I understand you. And that must make you feel great because you've been understood. Huh. You can see how self-summarizing gets in the way of all that. Presumptive attributions they found in the unhappy couples. Oh, presumptive attributions. You don't want that. What's a presumptive attribution? Presumptive attribution is when you assume that you know what the other person is thinking. Example. I say, why should we go to your family's house for the holidays? Didn't I just go to the last holiday to your family's house? And wasn't I polite to your mom and everything, even though I don't like her? Here's a presumptive attribution. Oh, you were just doing that to appease me. You didn't really make an effort. You were just pretending. What the? Presumptive attribution is a tough one because it's a form of mind reading. It's a form of saying, I know what you're thinking. Well, the problem is that shuts down communication, doesn't it? If you're having a conversation which is full of presumptive attributions, you are having a conversation with yourself. Right? I'm saying, okay, you don't care enough about me. Oh, I know you gave me flowers, but you only did it because you were trying to, apologize for that thing that you know you did that you won't admit, and then you are only doing this. Well, I'm talking to myself now. Presumptive attribution shuts down the other person because the other person is only in position of saying, well, either I can agree with that accusation you essentially levied at me, or I can suddenly have to say, wait a minute, you got me all wrong, but you're not listening to me anyway. You can imagine, though, that presumptive attributions come up. And they come up more in unhappy couples than in happy couples. Unhappy couples are saying, I know what you're thinking. I know why you're doing all that. Happy couples say, what are you thinking? Why are you doing that? You see the difference? The difference between closed and open. Closed is, I know why you're doing that, so just shut up. Open is, I want to know why you're doing that. Open up. Why are you doing that? What does that mean to you? Open-ended questions are what happy couples are doing. Unhappy couples are doing these closed-ended questions. A related closing technique from the unhappy couples is something called, I didn't put it on the slide, is something called a hostile question. A hostile question is something that looks like a question, but it has no real answer that opens the conversation up. Let me give an example of a hostile question. What were you thinking when you did that? You're not really asking, are you? If you say, what kind of an idiot would you have to be to pay $500 for that? Well, that's not really, that's called a hostile question because the answer isn't, oh, this is the kind of idiot I'd have to be. My point here is these are sort of conflict communication behaviors that really aren't totally obvious, but really distinguish between the couples that are on the way to closeness and the couples that are not. Another example, cross-complaining, kind of more intuitive. If someone says, honey, I have an issue. I don't like the way you are watching television at night when that's the time when we could be together. Well, a happy couple says, all right, you raised the issue, let's talk about that issue. What is it that you'd like me to do differently, or what is it that you're missing? Let's talk about it. That's the issue. Cross-complaining say, oh, that reminds me, I've got an issue too. You're a nag, and you never give me the little space or whatever. A cross-complaining is sort of related to the self-summarizing idea. It's when two people are so wrapped up in their own issues and getting their own issues out that they can't connect and be open to each other's issues. Yes, what's your name? Danielle.
How does cross-complaining differ from kitchen sinking?
It's related. It's related. You can imagine cross-complaining being about the similar topic. So if it's about neatness, you could say, you don't like how neat I am. And I say, well, actually, I don't like how neat you are. But kitchen sinking is about expanding. It's about expanding the topics to all these different issues. But they're related. This is all related. Prescription. Prescription is also subtle. Prescription is simply telling people what to do. And guess what? Nobody likes to be told what to do. Now, it's subtle because there's a way to say what you need. You can say what you need in a relationship. You can say, I need more time with you. I want more time alone with you. I want that. But that's opening yourself up. That's disclosing your needs. That's opening. Prescription tends to close. Prescription is when you say, you know what you need to do? You need to wise up, shape up, or ship up. Or it can be more subtle. You know what you need to do? You need to stop doing it on the computer. You need to stop watching TV. And you got to pay attention to me. That's telling you what you need. Well, that shuts you down. Maybe you have a different idea of what you need. The difference between open and closed is open avoids prescription. Open says, here's what I need. How does that fit with what you need? What do you need? Prescription says, I'll tell you what you need, so you shut up. So we've come along. You see how the research isn't as simple at all as, unhappy couples were just more negative, which would be a trivial result, I agree. It actually got a lot deeper than that. As people got into listening to what couples were actually doing, it became actually revolutionary research. Revolutionary.